Thank you so much for coming. As he mentioned, I just finished as the chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, and I'm really happy to be sharing today that I've just started and taken over as president of the USCIRF secretary, joining Greg Mitchell. So be continuing in this space. I'm really excited to be a part of this event and all of the important conversations that are happening today and tomorrow here at the International Religious Freedom Summit. And I, of course, want to thank the Indian American Muslim Council for inviting me to speak and all the sponsors of this important event. So I want to talk about really the grave threats that are faced by India's religious minorities. And I use the term minorities, but let me make clear that these are massive groups of people. There are over 200 million Muslims living in India today. To give you some perspective, Indian Muslims were their own nation. It would be the 5th most populated country in the world. There are 27.8 million Christians in India. Both groups are facing relentless discrimination, structural violence, and even the threat of erasure by Prime Minister Modi and the ruling BJP party. 2 months ago, in April of 2022, USCIRF recommended for the 3rd straight year that India be designated as a country of particular concern, or CPC. The International Religious Freedom Act of 1998 it defines a CPC as a country that has engaged in or tolerated systematic, ongoing, and egregious violations of religious freedom. That USCIRF report that we rolled out just days before I left the commission called on the Biden administration to openly condemn these violations, to support human rights organizations and activists in India who are raising awareness of these issues, and to impose targeted sanctions on individuals and entities responsible for severe violations of religious freedom by freezing those individuals or entities' assets and barring their entry to the United States. USCIRF made clear that these recommendations are urgent due to the manner in which President Modi and the BJP and affiliated Hindu extremist groups have advocated, instituted, and enforced sectarian policies seeking to establish India as an overtly Hindu state at grave danger to India's religious minorities. This includes the consistent incitement of violence against Muslims and Christians through disinformation and propaganda, the use of internet shutdowns to quash dissent in Muslim-majority region of Kashmir, the criminalization of marriages between Hindu women and men of other faiths, and the repression of critical voices, especially religious minorities and those reporting on and advocating for them, through harassment, investigation, detention, and prosecution under laws such as the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or the UAPA, and the sedition law. In the midst of these repressive government policies, Hindu supremacist groups, both openly and discreetly, encouraged by the state, enjoyed near complete impunity, despite assaulting Muslims and attacking Muslim prayer spaces, shops, and homes. The year ended with horrifying calls for genocide from India's 200 million Muslims, with a Hindu cleric saying openly, quote, "If you want to eliminate their population, then kill them. Be ready to kill and be ready to go to jail. Even if 100 of us are ready to kill 20 lakhs of them, then we will be victorious." These are chilling statements. This Hindu extremist leader, along with several others who also called Hindus to arm themselves and wage war against Muslims, has yet to be arrested. It is disappointing to see that the situation has sharply worsened in just 2 months since the report was released. While this year's report pertains to 2021, the first 6 months of 2022 show a troubling decline from an already bad situation. In the beginning of the year, Hindu extremists called to ban hijab, a headscarf worn by Muslim women, in schools in the state of Karnataka. Hindu students, both male and female, marched in protest against their own classmates' right to dress according to their religious beliefs. Young Muslim women were harassed not only by teachers and classmates, but also by dangerous Hindu extremist groups and BJP leaders. One particularly horrifying incident involved the Karnataka BJP doxing a number of minor Muslim girls through their official Twitter handles. These events culminated in the state high court ordering in March the hijab ban in schools, a verdict that completely goes against the principles of secular democracy. April should have been a month of celebration, as it coincides with both the month of Ramadan as well as 2 Hindu festivals. Instead, Hindu extremist mobs marched in violent processions from Muslim-majority areas armed with swords, sticks, and rocks, chanting anti-Muslim slogans, arsoning mosques, vandalizing Muslim-owned shops, and attempting to break into the homes of Muslim families. When Muslims retaliated, often in self-defense, They were arrested and their homes were demolished in a clear case of revenge politics, all while the Hindu extremist perpetrators walked free. These demolitions have now become a tool to crush dissent in India, and the bulldozer has become the new symbol of the Hindu nationalist movement. In Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and the Indian capital of New Delhi, Muslims have been the target of discriminatory demolition drives, forced to watch as their homes and shops are bulldozed in retaliation for protesting against the BJP. The most recent case of these revenge demolitions occurred in Uttar Pradesh, when just weeks ago, the home of prominent Muslim activist Afreen Fatima was demolished without notice. Afreen had been clear that her family's home was bulldozed in revenge for her activism, as a warning to other Muslims who also expressed dissent. Muslims have been at the forefront of this unceasing assault, but Christians have not been far behind. Laws severely restricting religious conversions have been implemented in a number of Indian states. While BJP politicians claim that these laws are meant to prevent forced conversions, the reality is these laws provide Hindu extremist mob with impunity as they attack Christian faith leaders, churches, congregations, private worship meetings, and Christian schools under the often false claims that these Christians were attempting to make false conversions. To make matters worse, Christians who are physically attacked and have their properties destroyed rarely receive protection from law enforcement. In fact, victims of mob violence are often arrested under charges of forced conversions while their attackers walk free. At the government level, these attacks are almost never condemned. It's long past time for the cycle of hatred and violence to end. It's long past time for the Biden administration to heed the recommendations made by USCIRF for 3 consecutive years and immediately denounce the crimes and to put India on the CDC list. If not, we could very well be staring down the barrel of yet another genocide. Thank you.